And that's why you should always be friends with a nurse. What's going on, everybody? This is the Cover Band Confidential Podcast. The podcast are cover band musicians and band leaders to learn how to rock more and sunglass in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm Adam Johnson.
In Greensboro, North Carolina, I'm Dan Ray.
You're going to have to pay $10 a month to get the context on that one.
You do. Nurses are good to have around.
Dark and stormy details.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're back from the land of the mouse. So tell us all about it.
It was good. It felt very much more like a business trip than a vacation this time, partially because I was debugging some pretty serious Showstopper bugs, but I did get them sorted out. There's this thing called debouncing, which is when process happens very frequently, but you only want to report on it every now and then. There's a slider in the app that for a while it was sending home tracking data at every micro increment of the slide. And so one slide of it and I'd get 50 hits to the server. And so we debounced that. So it only did that, when it moved and then stopped. Well, the GPS stuff in the app on my second day, I figured out later was phoning home to the server like 60 to 80 times a second.
Oh.
And so the server was crashing because it's just not tuned for that. And so I was tuning it for that. I was sitting there in EPCOT in those new seating areas they opened in the middle of World Celebration there, editing server config files on my phone. It was super great and not at all stressful or frustrating. But I figured that out that night and got a build out that solved that and properly debounced those things to being no more than one hit every 5 seconds. And the server was like... And that my last day was just gorgeous. The app just worked absolutely perfectly, totally flawless. It does this thing, and going down there to test was one of the things. When you cross the park boundary, it says, I'm alive. I'm going to start phoning home with your location data. We're going to start processing it, going to start doing the valuable things out of it. And then when you cross out, it says, I'm asleep. I'm no longer phoning home with your location. No GPS ghosts are following you home. That's impossible to test from my desk here in North Carolina. So that worked every single time, and I'm super happy about that. So the app is now in review at the iOS App Store. I think I've said its name, but I maybe not have. It's called Lightning Brain.
Yep.
And maybe by the time this drops, it'll be live in the App Store. We were targeting Monday. I have one last thing I'm arguing with Apple about in terms of the review. That if they prevail, will need a little work and we may push past Monday, but we're coming right up on it. So it's pretty exciting.
Awesome.
Pretty darn exciting. Yeah. I also had my very first native organic, none of us in the company know this guy, but he signed up on the website and he bought a premium day. Our very first purchase. So that's good. That's good.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's good.
I mean, organic sales are the ultimate deal.
Totally.
I mean, this being completely, at this point, word of mouth, like there's no push behind it at all.
We have big plans for the marketing, but none of it started yet. So I've been casually posting some stuff on Reddit about like somebody says, hey, Rise of Resistance has been down all day. And I can post my chart that says, well, actually, it was up first thing in the morning, but yeah, you're right. There's like a couple hours there it was pretty bad. Now it looks like it's up again. And I can do that in a way that subtly drops the name of the app. The web app is currently live. If you go to lightningbrain.app, you can do the web app version of it.
Nice.
But anyway, exciting.
Awesome.
Exciting. That's good news. The bad news is that shortly before I left, my hot water heater died in my house. So this old house of mine is about to chew another 2, maybe 3 paychecks. The trick is it's a gas heater, and when the plumber came down and looked at it, he said, "Gosh, has anyone in this house been having weird headaches lately?" I said, not that I'm aware of.
That's
he said,
not good.
The exhaust from this thing is completely not hooked up right. And so it's been flooding your house with carbon monoxide probably for however long that's been. And then even when we do get it hooked up right, it's venting out an old chimney that is almost certainly not up to code. And so we got to deal with that before we can do anything because the inspector won't let us turn it on without the exhaust being up to code. So the chimney guy came, looked at it, getting that all fixed is a $4,000 thing, and he can't do it for 2 weeks. Meanwhile, we just have no hot water in the house or boiling water for washing dishes. And I'm using my sous-vide, my Innova sous-vide circulating heater to heat a 5-gallon bucket of water in the shower. And then I got this pump, camp shower head pump thing where you can turn a 5-gallon bucket of water into about a 6-minute shower. And that's working. It's okay. Here's what we discovered today. I realized the hot water heater, how we knew it was failing was it was leaking out onto the basement floor and periodically filling up the sump. And the sump pump was throwing water out the side of the house, which is what we saw.
Right.
How we knew this was all happening. And I realized at some point, that's going to fully rupture. That's what they told me. And then I'm just going to have water flowing out of the city into my basement and out my driveway. And I don't want that. So I figured out how to turn it off. It's pretty simple. There's like just a simple cutoff. When I did that, my dishwasher stopped working. Now, a dishwasher is supposed to take cold water and heat it itself. Right. But that's not what my dishwasher is doing. My dishwasher is taking hot water and heating it further, apparently.
Wow.
Well, during this time, when the washing machine or the hot water heater was full of cold water, leaking, but had some in it, it was running and heating the water and washing the dishes. That was all fine. But when I cut the water off to it, it stopped totally. So it's plugged into the wrong water source, seems like. But it's fine. I know how to go down and turn the water back on, run the dishwasher, turn it back off. We're fine. That'll get. We're limping for the next couple of weeks. But we're going to get through.
Yeah, I recently saw a TikTok from a lady who does repairs on dishwashers. It was like, run hot water before you run your dishwasher because its job isn't necessarily to heat water. It can heat water, but it's much better if you put hot water into it. So technically, you're doing the right thing.
Maybe it was done right.
No, it's definitely not the way it's supposed to be, but it's a French benefit of having your water set up wrong.
Okay.
Well, geez, nothing quite as exciting. I don't know. That's not true. We just got back from Savannah. Amber and I celebrated our 18th wedding anniversary. Had a lovely time. Saw Wallace Shawn, the Sicilian from Princess Bride and a bunch of other stuff, just walking down the street. It was inconceivable. I was like, holy crap, there he is. Stayed at a great place. If you're ever in Savannah, check out Municipal Grand, fantastic hotel. And we just had a blast and came back and we're just kind of in the throes of it. We've got 2 gigs this weekend. We've got live band karaoke Friday and Saturday. And it's just kind of been a race to the finish line to get all of the systems set up. We're, I think, around 70% there with AbleSet. I've got ProPresenter on the back burner just in case we're not there completely.
Yeah.
And one thing that we've been struggling with is the request system. We had been using a platform called RequestNow, and I had been in discussion with their developers back and forth, and we were kind of moving in the right direction, and then things just kind of stalled, which is, they have to prioritize other stuff like active business and whatever. In that period, though, one of our patrons, Ando, who has a band called Anti-Skip Protection, launched this is a vibe coding project, I believe.
I believe it is, yes.
Called Bandleader. And a part of what he did was he set up a live band karaoke interface, and it literally solved every problem we had. And so he had sent me, I don't know, probably about a month ago, he'd sent me a login, and hadn't had a chance to go into it. This morning I logged in, did all the stuff. In 10 minutes, I had our entire set list migrated over with everything ready to go, including tips and a system to put you to the front of the line if you want to tip in. And I promptly canceled my RequestNow membership because I was paying $50 a month for that service, and it wasn't doing everything I needed it to do.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what Ando has planned for this app. I'm hoping that at some point he makes it public. We're basically, he's using the Patreon community as beta testers for this thing.
Yes.
So if it ever does launch, think of it as kind of a cleaner, more simplified, but also less feature-filled band helper. Mm-hmm. So it does some of the stuff that band helper does, but it does it in a very clean, easy to understand way.
It doesn't do charts.
It doesn't. It's really all about scheduling and requests and some expense tracking and that kind of stuff. So it does a little bit of what Band Helper does, but not everything.
Yeah.
But holy Snopes, we're taking it. I'm fully comfortable and confident putting it through its paces on these 2 gigs, and I think we've got a winner.
That's good. That's good.
So really excited about that. The only kind of question mark is the whole able set thing. Hoping we can get there, because it would definitely make things really easy, and then we can use the bandleader dashboard. We can put that as like a secondary window on that interface with the scrolling stuff at the top, and us being able to see the cue from the monitor, which would be outstanding.
Yeah.
So really stoked about that. And that's pretty much it for we've got, I've gotten a couple of like light inquiries throughout the end of the year, but this is basically how we're wrapping things up. Part of that involves us starting to roll out our current drummer. So Nathan has been with the band for about 8 years. He's been basically like my rock, like the guy that I have, been counting on for this entire time. And honestly, when he initially said that he was leaving, I was like, I'll just fold the band. We'll call it. Like,
right.
It was like that.
Like, how do we go on?
But we've got a guy. So Nathan can't do this Saturday gig. So we've got a guy coming in that is interested in the position full time, and says he can do the gig. So we're going to give him a trial by fire, live band karaoke style, which is
it's a lot.
It is a lot. So we'll see how it goes. But that's pretty much what we've got for the rest of the year.
Okay.
Well, in that case, let's move on to reviews. Now, this is from a new patron. I will not mention his name, and you'll find out why in a second.
Yes.
He says, "Hey there, been enjoying your show. Started playing guitar again in February after a 20-year hiatus. I'm hoping to find more people in my local scene, and ideally find more people to make music with. I prefer to avoid being named on the podcast at this time, but I look forward to the Slack." So,
noted.
Thank you, unnamed patron, for your support. If you'd like your name not mentioned on the show, you can leave a review like that.
That's right.
Good stuff. No other housekeeping stuff at this time. We've got things are going good, and there's nothing of note to mention. So this week we're going to talk about gear news, because there's been some gear news,
and particularly guitar gears.
Yes.
Sorry, drummers.
Yep, drummers, you guys are SOL this week.
Yep.
Same with keyboarders and all that stuff. Although we did have a really good conversation about keytars today in the Slack. So
that was a weird keytar you called out.
Yeah, just that random Japanese model Yamaha.
Well, it's got vocal formants. It's got it can sing like a anime character. Yeah, very weird.
Pretty fun. These specific ones, one of them is something that is very much in your wheelhouse that I know that you're very excited to talk about. And this other one is kind of outside of both of our purviews, but this is the first thing that I've seen outside of the HX ecosystem that has given me pause. Mm-hmm. So I want to talk about the release of the Fractal AM4.
Yep.
If you've been living under a rock, Fractal released a small profile, bare bones unit, at least in their world. That's basically a stomp style amp and effects modeler.
It's a teeny little Axe effects.
Yeah. It's got 4 buttons and a decent amount of I/O, and they're currently looking at selling this product in the price range of the HX Stomp XL, which is kind of similar in form factor and feature set, sort of.
And listen, if you are hip to guitar modelers going back 10, 15 years, Axe Effects has always been at the peak of sound quality. There have been reasons why you might have chosen something else, but it was never because of the quality of their modeling or the quality of their effects or anything like that. They were always known to be the very, very, very best. And so to have that in a small form factor that can fit on a pedal board and not cost you $3,000 is pretty exciting.
Well, and typically the reason why people would not pick the Axe FX had more to do with the interface and the way that you set it up.
True.
It was fairly technical. It was difficult to configure, so much so that friend of the show Cooper Carter, it was like his full-time job setting these rigs up for famous rock stars. And he's still doing that. Actually, he was the guy who did the announcement video for Fractal. But let's go through some of the features here. So when I initially read the spec sheet, I was kind of confused and had to get some additional clarification, but I think I've got what I'm looking for. So the first thing you need to know is that all of the amps and such are the same ones you're going to get if you bought the Axe FX3. So top of the line deal, it's very much like the Helix world where, top to bottom, you have access to the same things, at least as far as the amps go.
Yep.
Now, their additional kind of unique feature is that the speaker simulation is built into the amp block, so you don't have to spend additional DSP, with impulse responses or cabs or whatever. It's all in one. And they recently announced their Dynacab models, which is something that actually the Helix had before the Axe did, which is these simulated speaker cabinets where you can choose the microphone and move it in proximity to the speaker cone and all of that. That was something that actually, the Helix kind of had the corner of the market until they released these. So you've got these really great speaker cabs built into the amp block with great sounds and ambience without requiring additional blocks and all of that. And that's a good thing because the AM4 has 4 blocks, which is kind of tricky. Different types of modelers have different limitations as far as number of blocks and DSP thresholds and all of that. The AM4 kind of bypasses that by just saying you got 4 blocks.
Yeah.
But in those 4 blocks, you could do a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So beyond the amps and the speaker simulations and all of that, you've got 150, 200 some odd effects that you can put into this. 80 different drives, 75 reverbs, dozens of delays, modulation, dynamics, filters, EQs, wahs, blah, blah, blah. It's all there. And the way that they set these up is through presets, scenes, and channels.
Yeah.
It can hold 104 presets, and each preset is basically a mini rig with 4 blocks, and those 4 blocks can contain 4 scenes and 4 channels per block.
So it's the word channel I'm struggling with a little bit here.
Yeah.
How does that map to anything I know?
Okay, so the way that I understand this is that with those 4 blocks, you get 4 channels per block. So let's think about it this way. So let's say you had a distortion block, an amp block, modulation, and reverb or delay.
Yeah.
One of those.
Yeah. Yeah.
Inside each of those blocks, you could have 4 different channels.
Okay.
So let's say in your amp block, you could have 4 different amps per preset.
Okay.
So your drive channel, you can have 4 different dirt boxes.
Okay.
And the way that I understand scenes are kind of similar to snapshots in the HX world.
Yeah.
My current setup is I've got 5 or 6 different presets. So I've got an acoustic simulator, super clean, not so clean, dirty, super dirty. But I could do that with 2 different presets.
Yeah.
On this, which is pretty interesting, pretty compelling.
Yeah.
It's
interesting.
As well as the fact you get gapless switching between those things.
It's very nice.
So they really, thought through all of that. Going through some of the other, features, it's got USB audio, 4x4 USB interface for recording playback, DI, capture, reamping, low noise inputs, auto Z impedance switching, TRS main outputs, stereo effects loop, SPDIF, MIDI, expression pedals. You've got 4 onboard foot switches with 5 different modes. You can do preset mode, scene mode, effects mode, tune, tempo, and amp mode with a 1-tap output boost. So that's another thing you can do is that typically we put a boost channel or a snapshot for that kind of stuff. That's something you can tap onto. It comes with a companion app for Mac and PC for visual preset building, cab management, libraries, controller setup, yada, yada, yada. They say it's an integrated Fractal bot. I'm not quite sure what a Fractal bot is, but I'm intrigued.
Yes.
the other thing is that, we're talking about, okay, well, I only have 4 blocks and that may not be enough. What if I need additional DSP or whatever? And so one thing that I've seen a lot of is that you can pair this unit with the virtual pedal board that they released recently called the VP4, which then gives you 4 additional blocks. And those two apparently play very well and play nicely together. So I think for less than the cost of an FM9, you can have both of those units running in tandem, basically.
Okay.
So I think they've done a thing. They threw their hat into the ring at a very interesting time.
Yes.
Considering that like the pricing has been real tricky this year, with tariffs and all of that stuff, they managed to put a new product into the market, make it competitive with other products in the market. There's nothing really at this level, processing-wise, quality-wise, that's out right now.
Yeah.
I don't know how it stacks up against the Stadium, but these are very different products.
Yes.
I mean, the only thing that could really like top this right now would be, an HX Stomp Stadium with the new Agora modeling and all of that stuff.
Right.
Otherwise, I mean, they're kind of in rarefied air.
Yeah. Yeah. And to bring the AXFX platform into small form factor, small dollar factor, that's pretty compelling.
Yeah. This is the first piece of kit that's come out where I'm like, I might want to try that out. So I might be bugging Cooper Carter about seeing if he's got an evaluation unit or something I can borrow for a couple of days to see if I can get a handle on it. But if you've got any questions or comments about this unit, whether you think it's the new one to beat, let us know. coverbrainconfidential@gmail.com. Hit us up in the comments of the YouTube video. I really want to see what this is. I watched a bunch of demos this past week, and it sounds really stinking good. I really want to try it out.
Yeah.
Now, moving along, there is basically this dropped this morning.
Today. Yeah, today.
And this is something that's very much in your purview. So why don't you take it away?
For sure. So HeadRush just dropped firmware 5.0 for their whole HeadRush core platform. It's pretty cool in a couple of ways. One thing that they've done that nobody's really tried in a guitar multi-effects before is it includes a drum machine. And when I say drum machine, it's not like you're not going to program, it's not like an 808. You're not going to like program a beat on it.
Yeah.
It's going to play drums. It's more like the drummer thing that's built into the Apple
Logic.
Yeah. You kind of give it parameters to how to play and when to do a fill and when to shift between sections of a song, and it'll do that based on your input on the pedal board. But if you're somebody who loops, if you're somebody who wants to back a solo acoustic with something interesting, that's a pretty interesting way to do it. And so I'm eager to play with that. I have not upgraded my my Core Flex yet, but I might do that tonight, depending on how quickly we get this wrapped up.
Well, and to piggyback onto that, it's not just some random drum engine. They're using BFD as the sound
it's the good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. The firmware installs with one kit. There are like 15 more you can download for free. So yeah, I'm looking forward to playing with that. I think it's going to be pretty cool. Whether I'll actually use it in live scenarios, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of my vibe would have to shift a little.
Sure.
to include that. But if it's awesome, I'm game. I don't know.
Why not?
And there are tight integrations between it and the looper that's built into the platform. So that's pretty neat. It can quantize in a good way that's helpful for looping.
Well, and for context, HeadRush is the hardware manufacturer behind like the Sheeran loopers and stuff. So they're very like entrenched in this ecosystem.
They had a whole looper board for a while. It's out of production right now, but yeah, it's in their wheelhouse for sure. The next thing that may or may not be of interest to a lot of folks, but it caught my eye, is integration with Tidal. Now, Tidal is a music streaming platform, a lossless streaming platform that's mainly aimed at DJs. And so if you're a DJ, a lot of the DJ hardware gear has Tidal integration. You can build your whole set list there and play it live from Tidal, add a DJ gig. It includes stem separation is part of what comes with Tidal. And so the idea is it's built in tightly with the Headrush practicing interface. So that interface lets you define begin and end of a loop. You can change key, tempo, all kinds of things as you practice a lick, a dozen times along with the backing track that the song came from. And all that can now come from Tidal, and they've got every track that you might ever want. It's, as complete as any of the other streaming platforms. More for some things, EDM, it's very rich. Don't know how interested our audience is in that, but who knows? It's an interesting thing to have integration with that. You do have to have a Tidal account.
Right.
But once you have that, you can connect and log in as yourself on your device, and off you go.
Nice.
Yeah, there are a couple of new effects too. There's a new amp they're excited about called On One, which is an emulation of the classic 80s PV 6505.
Which we all know is the PV 5150.
Yeah.
They just can't call it that no more.
They can't call it that. Yeah. So, all of the demos I've seen of it were Hot for Teacher or some other variation on that. 2 new overdrives, both of which I think are aimed at sort of edge of breakup. At least that was how they were being demoed, although I think they probably have more range than that. Looking at the way that the virtual pedals dials are set up, it seems like they probably have a broader application than that. But the demo was all sort of blues breakup kind of feel stuff. A new drop tune and a new up tune, which is the opposite of a drop tune. It's up rather than drop.
I got it.
But the tracking is improved, and that's part of the thing of it. The tracking is more authentic. It feels more human, and that is also true of the vocal harmony. So this whole platform has a vocal piece to it that includes Antares Autotune and all that stuff, and they're saying the harmonies are improved. Now, when you demoed the VX5, the standalone vocal pedal, that was your complaint, that the harmonies didn't feel natural.
Oh, no. My complaint was that they didn't work at all.
Well, right. Right. So they have not said that the VX5 is included in this release. I actually asked that in the YouTube video that demoed the release, and I have not had an answer to that yet.
Yeah.
And when I go to look at their download page on the VX5 section, there's not a new firmware to be downloaded there. So, but hopefully it will. I have been contemplating replacing sort of once that got better at that, replacing my Voice Live with one of those.
Right.
Your review scared me off of doing that right now, but there may come a time, and perhaps this release is it, but not clearly at this moment. It needs to come to that device.
Yeah, it's interesting. That video's like over 20,000 views, and they have not reached out about it. Like I feel like I gave it as fair of a shake as I could, and I'm willing to. We're using them. It is now a part. It's built into our setup. We've got them set up to be automated with our Ableton deal, and it works fantastically.
For the Autotune.
For that one thing.
Yeah.
If it could do the other thing, I've been kind of chomping at the bit to do a follow-up because I really love this unit. It's been phenomenal. And the fact that it's almost good. Almost. Like it's this one thing that just needs to be fixed. And the fact that they're working on it on the other hardware gives me hope.
Yes.
But it's just been tough because like their forum for that unit is not very active. Earlier today, they sent a link in something about the day one firmware, which of course came out when the product launched on day one. They have not updated it since. So my hope would be that this gets ported over at some point.
Yeah.
I'm not holding my breath. And frankly, I don't need it, but a lot of folks are kind of sitting on it, waiting for this to happen. So I'm hoping that they get it figured out.
Yeah. Well, harmony effects are a core part of what I do acoustic. So I wouldn't want to downgrade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed that, we get a little love thrown our way for the VX5. And there's a couple of other things that they need to fix. And most of those things are just kind of, little complaints. Like my biggest complaint is that they don't have a sharp ray flat in the preset naming. There just isn't one. And there's not enough room to write.
G sharp, A, B flat?
Like you can't put like there's no hashtag, there's no flat symbol. And you only have so many, characters that you can put in there. So even sharp and flat may not fit,
Oh, in the name of a preset.
Right.
I gotcha.
Yeah. Like
gotcha.
you literally I can't put C sharp.
Yeah.
It's not possible. I have to write C sharp.
You say D lowercase b.
Right, but not sharp.
But not sharp.
Yeah. So that seems like something that should be there, honestly.
Should be. Yeah.
That, and I think more expanded MIDI functionality. Those are the two things that it really are kind of short-sighted on top of the harmony stuff.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's great. I hope you get a chance to, if we need to wrap up so you can plug this thing in, I just want to get the full rundown on how everything's working when you get a chance to do it. So
yeah, totally.
Keep us posted. We'll be back next week, and you can tell us all about it if we don't hear about it before then.
Okay.
And that's it. That's it for the show.
We'll do it.
Folks, thanks so much for tuning in. If you are looking to join the Patreon, or you are trying to, help people get you something, one of the things that Patreon is doing right now is making it easy to gift a membership. If I can find a link to the gifting portion of that, I'll put that in the show notes. So you can send that to whoever in your life, might be willing to throw you a yearly membership.
So we used to do a whole gifts for musicians.
Yeah.
At the holidays. It was almost as hated as the song bracket episodes. But that's the gift.
Yeah.
Our Patreon. Do that.
Yeah. And beyond that, you get a discount if you pay a year in advance. So you'll get 10% off of that. So, for less than a 6-pack of strings, you could be hanging out with us for an entire year. As far as other stuff goes, I think right now all of our merch is on promo because it's, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, whatever. So if you've been looking to pick up a shirt or a hat or whatever, now might be a good time to send that link out to some folks. We'll put that in the show notes as well. And that's it. Hopefully you're kicking off your holiday season the right way. If you're watching this, you can see I've got, my thermal on that's festive. All the fam all got matching PJs. We watched Elf together before I hopped onto the pod this evening. So
perfect.
Hopefully
yes.
you're getting to do all of your festive stuff. And hope you're doing well. And that's it. In Atlanta, Georgia, I'm Adam Johnson.
In Greensboro, North Carolina, I'm Dan Ray.
You have been listening to the Cover Band Confidential podcast for the week of December 5th? December 5th, 2025. Yeah.